was chanting Hare Krishna in a secluded place, and some imitator thought, quote, I will get prestige by also chanting Hare Krishna in this sacred place, unquote. So he set up a shop, so to speak. He got himself a little bhajan kutir, not so far away, and he was chanting. But Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj commented that you can't have a child just by going to the maternity room and making noise. The Sahajas want to be seen as a great devotees, but they don't want to follow the path of devotional service. The path of devotional service is to be followed step by step. But Sahajas wants to jump from where they are to where they want to be without doing the work, without taking the steps in between. Therefore, they don't have foundation or the substance in their practice. Sridhar Maharaj commented one time that if you skip some step, the part you skip will remain hollow. In India, buildings sometimes crumble because the cheapskate building contractor don't build according to the code. To save a rupee, they use less sand and less cement, fewer steel rods, whatever they can skimp on. The building looks really good and they book it all out. But then one day it crashes. So if you don't follow the step-by-step process, that's what will happen. One can look really good, but there is some hollow portion, and under pressure, everything will come crashing down. So there is a very nice, Jai Advaita Maharaj has given real humility. I think we should dwell on it. Bhakti Vinod quote Rupa Goswami's verse, Krita gaskya api ayogyapi jane asmin kumatau api dasya dana pradanasya lavam api upapadaya. Although I am unfit, an offender with a crooked mind, please bestow on me a fragment of the gift of service to you. Srila Sanatana Goswami comment that this mood is the necessary qualification for Krishna consciousness, extreme humility. The Goswami weren't just being humble. It wasn't just that they knew that they were supposed to be humble. So they say things like, quote, I'm the lowest, I'm the most fallen, unquote. As Prabhupada says, you are not the most anything. Kaviraj Goswami wrote, quote, I'm lower than the worm in the stool, unquote. And Prabhupada said it's not just that he is writing poetry. He genuinely feels like that. The Goswamis genuinely feel that they are unqualified when they write this way. It's not just adherence to some traditional forms or formula. You are supposed to say something humble. They genuinely felt that way. Sanatana Goswami avoided the main path to the Jagannath temple and took the long way around the beach, walking over the hot sand, because he thought he might otherwise come in touch with pujaris and contaminate them. Who can imagine the level of Krishna consciousness the Goswami were speaking and acting from. He writes, quote, I'm an offender, I'm unqualified, I have crooked intelligence, unquote. When he looks at himself, he sees these things, but we see a pure devotee. We see a devotee of the highest caliber, but the devotee of the highest caliber doesn't think, quote, I'm a Paramhansa or I have attained perfections. Bhaktivinoda also quote this verse of Rupa Goswami, quote, this unhappy soul is not fit to be neglected by you, for you have a butter-soft heart that melts constantly by the warmth of your compassion, unquote. Narottam Das Thakur also says, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar Moshama Patita Prabhu Na Pai Bear. I have some qualification that I am fallen, and you are the Dinabandhu. You are the Patita Pavan. So what about me? What about me? So this is very wonderful to keep our frame of mind, not to get being puffed up by something Krishna has given us some qualities. So now we will dwell on the life of Srila Prabhupada. We are on volume number 3. Chapter title is Our Master Has Not Finished His Work. I'll just read one paragraph to bring up to the speed and then we will continue. The constant coming and going of Srila Prabhupada young followers, wearing tilak on their foreheads and carrying watermelons, special food, flowers, and painting of Krishna, created a special interest among the hospital staff. Sometimes a worker would ask questions, and sometimes the devotee would talk with them about the Hare Krishna movement. Once, a nurse came by Prabhupada's room and asked, quote, in the caste system in India, what is the name of the highest caste? What are they called? Prabhupada answered, Krishna conscious. Prabhupada firmly replied, he asked a disciple to give the nurse prasadam, Haribol. So we will continue now. On June 5th, Prabhupada received an affectionate letter signed by all his disciples in San Francisco. After reading how they had stayed up all night, chanting and praying for his recovery, he dictated a short letter as follows. My dear boys and girls, I'm so much obliged to you for your prayers to Krishna to save my life. Due to your sincere and ardent prayer, Krishna has saved my life. I was to die on Tuesday, certainly, but because you prayed sincerely, I am saved. Now I am improving gradually and coming to original condition. Now I can hope to meet you again and chant with you Hare Krishna. I'm so glad to receive the report of your progressive march and hope there will be no difficulty in your understanding Krishna consciousness. My blessings are always with you, and with confidence you go on with your chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The following day, a tape arrived from Mukunda, a recording of San Francisco's devotees singing Sri Rama Jaya Jaya Ram, and other bhajans. Prabhupada dictated another letter, saying that as soon as he got strength for traveling, he would come again to San Francisco. Quote, in the meantime, unquote, he wrote, again quote, I shall be very glad to know what arrangement you are going to do for the Rath Yatra festival. Make it a grand procession and unique introduction in the United States, unquote. Some of Swamiji's disciples gather in the storefront at 26th 2nd Avenue one night. Sitting around on the faded rug, they discuss the meaning of Swamiji's illness. He had said that when the heart attack had come, it had been meant for his death. Therefore, he had called out loudly Hare Krishna, thinking the moment of death had come. Kirtananda remembered that Swamiji had once told him that when he was on the boat coming to America, the captain's wife had read his palm and said that if he survived his 71st year, he would live to be 100. Madhusudan asked, quote, how could a pure devotee be subject to a death blow? Unquote. Kirtananda replied that it was impersonal to think that because Swamiji was a pure devotee, nothing could happen to him, and that they should not even worry about him. Of course, the apparent suffering or even the passing away of a pure devotee wasn't the same as an ordinary man's. Swamiji had given the example of the cat. Sometimes she carries her kittens in her mouth, and sometimes she catches a mouse in the same jaws. The mouse feels the jaw of death, but the kitten feels safety and affection. So although Swamiji's death call might have appeared similar to an ordinary man's, for Swamiji there had been no fear or danger. As the disciples discussed their realization, they began to clear away their doubts about why such an apparent setback had come upon their spiritual master. Satsarup mentioned the letter he had typed for Swamiji at the hospital. In the letter, Swamiji has said he was not afraid of Maya and could not be touched by Maya. But he had also referred to being stabbed by his heart. Brahmananda said that Swamiji had once told him that a spiritual master may suffer for the sins of his disciple because he has to take their karma. Swamiji now had about 50 disciples, so maybe that had been the cause of his heart attack. They talked about the importance of being very strict and not committing any sins with which to burden their spiritual master. Another reason for Swamiji's illness, Kirtananda said, was that Krishna had arranged it to engage them all in an intimate service to Swamiji. By serving a pure devotee, one gains the favor of Krishna, and Krishna was letting them all become purified by massaging and serving Swamiji so intimately. Satsarup recalled that Swamiji has said in a letter to the devotees in San Francisco that he was supposed to have died, but that prayer had saved him. Swamiji has told Kirtananda that Krishna had heard the devotees' prayer and had granted their wishes. Krishna was allowing Swamiji to go on with his mission of spreading Krishna consciousness in the West. It wasn't on his own behalf that Swamiji wanted to live, but to continue his mission. Everyone agreed with Kirtananda that it was a form of impersonalism for them to think that because Swamiji was a pure devotee, he didn't need their loving care. They should continue to care for Swamiji even after he got better. He had put himself in their care and they had to reciprocate accordingly. Swamiji had said they were like fathers to him, so they should not allow him to play the drum long and vigorously, to sing in the park for hours, or to stay up talking late at night, or to do anything that might endanger his health. Rai Ram said that Swamiji had asked him to reply to several letters from devotees on the West Coast and explain that he would probably never again be able to take on the strain of public lectures. The Sankirtan movement now rested on their shoulders. Rai Ram had explained in his letters that it was Krishna's grace that Swamiji was still with them and able to advise them when things got rough. But now they must increase their effort to distribute Krishna consciousness to the world. The talk turned to the need for them to realize Swamiji's instructions and become strong devotees. Everyone agreed that they could do this by studying Swamiji's books more carefully and always acting according to his instructions. When they told Prabhupada about their philosophical discussion, he replied only briefly, quote, "Krishna heard all your sincere prayers, and he thought, all right, let him stay and do his nonsense. So many devotees are praying on his behalf," unquote. Before Prabhupada's illness, the devotees has planned a big event in Tompkins Square Park for Sunday, June 4th. The park department had given them the use of a loudspeaker system and stage in the band cell. Mr. Coleman, producer of the Hare Krishna record, had encouraged them to advertise and had gotten in touch with the TV stations. The devotees had begun making Hare Krishna Mahamantra sign so that everyone, even the TV viewer, could chant. Although now unable to go, Srila Prabhupada said they should still have their festivals. He would compose a special address for Kirtananda to read to the public. From his hospital bed, he dictated the short speech, quote, "An address to American youth," unquote, by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. On June 4th, several hundred people gathered around the bandsaw in Tompkins Square Park, while the devotees played harmonium, kartals, and mridangas and chanted Hare Krishna over the PA system. Many people in the crowd chanted alone, playing their own instrument, anyone joining the devotees on stage. Kirtananda stood before the microphone and announced that Bhaktivedanta Swami, although ill at Bath Israel Hospital, had prepared a message for everyone. Many among the Lower East Side crowd were acquainted with Bhaktivedanta Swami and his chanting of Hare Krishna. They listened as Kirtananda read. This is the message Prabhupada gave him. My dear young beautiful boys and girls of America, I have come to your country with great hope and a great mission. My spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahams Parikavraj Acharya, Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, asks me to preach this cult of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Western world. That was the seed-giving incident. Gradually the seed fructified, and I was prepared to come to the Western world. Still, I do not know why I was so much attracted by the land of America. But from within, Krishna dictated that instead of going to Europe, I should better go to America. So you can see that I have come to your country under order of superior authority. And even after arriving here, when I perceived that some of the youngsters are being misled, confused, and frustrated, this is not the condition of your country only, but in every country, the young people are neglected, although it is they who are the flower and future hope of everyone. So I thought to myself that if I go to the American youth with my message and they join with me in this movement, then it will spread all over the world. And then all the problems of the world will be solved. How I would like to be with you in person today, but Krishna has prevented that. So please pardon me and accept my blessings in this written form. This process of Sankirtan, this singing and dancing, it is so nice because from the very beginning it places everyone on the spiritual platform. There are different platforms or level to our existence. The bodily platform, mental platform, intellectual platform, and the spiritual platform. When you stand on the spiritual platform, then all the problems created by the necessities of the body, mind, intellect, and ego become solved. Therefore, I appeal to you to join this movement most seriously. The process is very simple. We ask everyone to come, join with us in chanting, hear something of the philosophy of life taught by Lord Krishna, take little prasadam, foodstuff that is prepared and offered to the Lord, and peacefully, with a refreshed mind, go home. That's our mission. We do have certain restrictions practically that are not restrictions, but something better in place of something inferior. The other day, Mr. Alan Burke questioned me on his television program. Quote, Swamiji, why do you insist on marriage? Unquote. And I answered him, quote, Unless one becomes peaceful in home life, how can he make any advance in any other area of life or knowledge? Therefore, everyone should get married just to be happy and peaceful. Unquote. You are all beautiful, nice, educated boys and girls. Why shouldn't you get married and live happily? If you live peacefully, regulated lives, eating nothing but Krishna prasadam, then the tissues in your brain will develop for spiritual consciousness and understanding. However, if you are not agreeable to this simple restriction, still I request you to join the chanting with us. How much Prabhupada has faith in chanting? Everybody can do that, and that will gradually clarify everything, and all problems will be solved, and you will find a new chapter of your life. Just this week, I have received a letter from a girl in New Jersey who had had such an experience. She writes as follows. Dear Swamiji, you don't know me by name, but I am the girl who joined your parade in Washington Square this past Saturday. Quote, when I first saw your group, I thought you were all crazy. Either that or on dope of some kind. After listening and talking with some of you, I realized that it was neither of those. You people plainly believed in what you were doing, and I admire you for that much. But my curiosity drove me further, and I had to find out why. So I followed you, and as I said, I did the chant you sang began to take hold. The next thing I knew, I felt free of myself, and I was singing too. I don't know when I was or where I was going, but I was too elated to care. It wasn't until we stopped that I learned where I was. By that time, I had picked up bits and pieces of what Krishna consciousness was about. One of your members asked me to visit your temple, and I follow you still further, hoping to discover just what it was that made you feel so strong about something I had never heard of. After having taken a meal with you and reading your literature, I left, but not alone. I took with me a new awareness of life. It occurred to me how futile my desire for the material things in the life were. That a new dress or big house or color television were not important. If only people would open their eyes to the endless number of pleasures God has already given us, there would be no need for looking any further. You people are truly lucky. You may have had to do without many things, but because of this, you are able to enjoy the simple, God-given treasure of the world. Because of your beliefs, you are the wealthy, and I thank you for sharing a bit of that wealth with me. So we invite you to please chant with us. It is such a nice thing. Come to our temple if you like, take a little prasadam and be happy. It is not very difficult if you just chant this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That will save you. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Srila Prabhupada was eager to leave the hospital. For several days, he had wanted to go. They are simply sticking needles. He complained. And each day was putting his society into further death. The devotees has rented a small seaside house in Long Branch, New Jersey, where Prabhupada could go to recuperate. Kirtananda, they decided, would be Prabhupada's cook, and Gaurasundar and his wife, Govinda Dasi, were arriving from San Francisco to do the housekeeping and help. But the doctor wanted Prabhupada to stay for another brainwave test and more observation. One day, while Brahmananda and Gargamuni were visiting Prabhupada, the doctor entered and announced that the Swami would have to go downstairs for an X-ray. No needle? Prabhupada asked. Yes, the doctor replied. It's all right. When the nurse brought in a bed on wheels, Prabhupada said he wanted Gargamuni to push it. He then sat on it, cross-legged, and put his hand in his big bag. And Gargamuni, following the nurse, wheeled him out the door, down the hall, and onto the elevator. They went down to the third floor and entered a room. The nurse left them alone. Gargamuni could sense Prabhupada's uneasiness. He was also nervous. It was such an unlikely place for him to be with his spiritual master. Then a different nurse entered with a needle. Time to give the Swami a little injection. No, Prabhupada shook his head. I'm sorry, Gargamuni said flatly. We are not going to do it. I think we should stop here. We should be punctual, but very interesting. So if Krishna so desire, we look forward to see you tomorrow morning before 2 o'clock. If not, you can join at your convenient time before the devotees leave. We would like to offer our humble obeisances at the dusk of their lotus feet by chanting Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam